Zaha Mustafa Audu. She joins me live from Abuja via Zoom. Thank you so much. It's good to have you start the program this afternoon, DG PEBEC.
Hi, good afternoon. It's nice to be here. Well, I'm still in my office, but it's nice to virtually be in your studio. So good afternoon.
Thank you so much. I think we should start with the key objective of your upcoming PEBEC nationwide tour and why you think this is important for Nigeria's business environment at this time.
Well, of course, you understand the structure of how Nigeria is, split up. We have our states, we have our regions. Typically, what we used to do in the past was go into the regions and try and interact with the states. But at this stage, we feel that it's necessary for us to go to every state capital. Our tours are being broken down into 2 sessions, which is a morning session where we'll have a technical session with the different arms of the government who are responsible for business and trade in those states, and basically we'll talk around how we can streamline some of the regulations and policies that affect businesses within those states. We also look at how we can basically trickle down the effect of some of the policies at the federal level and make sure that these are being implemented at the subnational level. Of course, majority of Nigerians live in the other 36 states, which is not the FCT, which is the federal level where we're located. So it's important that we continue to make sure that the policies that we implement at the federal level, being Abuja, the FCT, transcends just our immediate environment, but is being tangibly felt by local businesses at the subnational level. The second arm of the day would be a town hall meeting, whereby we would bring the government in the local states close to the businesses within those states. So we're working very closely with different organized labor and different associations and organizations, to bring representatives of the private sector within those states to be part of those meetings, to look at the peculiarities and the challenges that they face in their own individual states, and for us to help work with them to formulate policies that will impact those states directly. So for us, we're trying to basically kill 2 birds with 1 stone, support our subnational government, but then also create an avenue for the private sector to interact with the government at that level. Also, something that's very good, which is important to note, is that we have been one of the main driving partners on the SAVER program, which is being sponsored by the World Bank. It's a $750 million loan for the subnational government to help them, embed some of this ease of doing business policies across the states. And there are several features. So taking our technical assistance to the states in person, I think shows our level of seriousness and commitment to ensuring that we improve the Nigerian business climate. So it's not just conversations being had in Abuja, but we are localizing our services and we're localizing the impact. And this is definitely in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 8-point agenda for improving the business climate in Nigeria.
Indeed, I was heading there very quickly to ask you that how does this align with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's broader economic agenda and, of course, the federal government's efforts, particularly to attract investments and create jobs across the country?
Well, I think it would be worthy to note that one of the very, very first commitments that Mr. President did in his inaugural speech was to our investors, when he assured them that he would streamline policies around taxation, multiple levies, duplication of effort from agencies. And this is exactly what we're trying to do. And of course, we understand for our mandates that it goes beyond just the MDAs at the federal level, right? We must, transcend, and we must ensure that these policies trickle down to the subnational level where these businesses exist. We must ensure that tangible benefits are being felt at the subnational level. And the only way to do that is to go and interact with them, understand their unique and peculiar challenges, and also formulate policies and solutions that are uniquely designed for them at that level.
You've told us a bit about how this is going to translate to what we expect from the subnationals, but I want you to tell us more about the state action on business enabling reform, SABR program. What progress has been made so far? How are state governments responding, of course, to the performance-based reform model?
Well, this is really interesting because this is a program that has run this is the third year of the program actually. And of course, it has transcended from one administration into another. And this is to show that with this administration, our approach is a little bit different. It's a little bit more hands-on. We are working very closely with our partners from World Bank, the Ministry of Finance, the Debt Management Office, the Nigerian Governors Forum. We're looking, the program was for $750 million loan, of which I think about $70.9 million has been expended. So there's still a lot of room for for us to utilize this funds, which has not we're nowhere near exhausting or even taking advantage of. So what we're trying to do with this particular nationwide tour is ensure that we're able to provide the right level of TA that the states need to be able to not just access the funds, but truly embed the true principles of ease of doing business within the estates, ensuring more transparency around, land registration, levies, fees, charges, licenses, ensuring more, cooperation even within the states for interstate trade, reducing some of the charges around, connectivity and access to data, etc. So these are some of the areas that we're definitely going to be pushing and touching on. It's also worthwhile to note that PEBEC has a culture of ranking our states. We will continue to do this, but just with a slightly different twist, in the sense that moving forward, what we aim to do is to basically assess all our states based on their pros. Obviously based on the advantages and disadvantages of doing businesses in those states, highlighting the top 10 states to do business in Nigeria, and then over a quick period of time, the 5 most improved states to do business in. And then hopefully this document or this report that will be generated will become like a guide, more of like an investment document that can help Nigerians as well as foreign investors understand the Nigerian terrain better, assess the risk, and embed that into their business, their business plans for investment locally in Nigeria. For me, coming with my background as working within the presidency on foreign direct investment, I can only do one thing, which is to continue to promote the Invest in Nigeria theory. So it's very important for me that I'm able to support the states as much as possible, handhold them, and guide them, on the path. Because for the end goal, we always have to focus on the end goal. What are we looking to achieve? We aim to improve we aim to improve the business climate in Nigeria by helping our states, improve efficiency, improve transparency, and basically improve the perception of the ease of doing business in those states. And I think the best way for us to do that is to provide the right amount of guidance, to highlight, like I had previously said, the pros and the cons of doing businesses in these states, to make recommendations, to guide through the recommendations, and then of course to provide a great investor guide for local investors as well as foreign investors who are interested in doing business in Nigeria.
Issues repeatedly raised by businesses in my research and my understanding is transparency in government process. So let me ask how PEBEC is encouraging state-level governments to adopt transparency and regulatory clarity as part of the ease of doing business reforms. I've had issues where exporters, business people will tell you that some government agencies are not supporting this drive. So I'd like you to react to that.
Right. So we had a slight technical glitch.
Yes,
I don't know if you can still...
But I think you're back now. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you can still see me in the studio. So some of the things that we've focused on is especially at the federal level. This is also something that we want to trickle down into the state level. So we're encouraging all the MDAs, the commissions at the state level, to start to use, websites, to start to offer services online so that it's transparent. Your fees, your levies are clearly advertised. People can fill the forms, the timelines for processing or accessing information is clearly stated. Whatever documentations are needed are clearly visibly online. And these are even some of the deliverables, and these are some of the things that the independent verification agents from the World Bank also check before the states have access to the funding. So it's sort of like a carrot and a stick approach, whereby there's access to funding for you to improve your services, but you need to have implemented some of these recommended changes for you to be able to access those funding. So these are the things that we're doing. Digitalization is definitely forefront of what we're doing. The entire process with interaction with PEBEC has been upgraded. We now liaise with our state reform champions through our digital platform. Even at the national level, we relate with our MDAs through our platform. We've also taken it one step forward and further. For the first time, I dare say, state governors can now come onto our digital platform and see what areas, what areas or challenges their states or their reform champions are facing. So they can see at a glance, at what stage their states are and what areas of improvements they need to work on. So that's definitely for us a key area of focus.
Again, with new platforms such as the PEBEC Cyber Portal and, of course, upgraded state dashboards that we've seen on board, you talked about technology now, but how are you specifically using it to drive now accountability and track reform progress, of course, both at state and federal levels?
Well, if you look in-depthly into the SABER program, you would find that how there's a need for the states to publish their annual budgets. This definitely ensures transparency. There's also provision that one of the requirements is for the states to also publish their debts, which is why the Debt Management Office is involved. In addition to that, on the PEBEC end of it, there's also a need for them to publicly announce their investment incentives. So we're bringing about a lot of transparency by forcing the states to publicly declare status, and this definitely brings accountability, because then the businesses can refer to these documents and can hold the states accountable. Of course, PEBEC also has the ReportGov platform that has been upgraded and is being relaunched actively again. So even though you're at the subnational level, of course, you do know that you can still use the ReportGov platform to escalate matters depending on the agencies. So in fact, I think even at the subnational level, a lot of them still deal with some of the federal agencies for things like company registration, NAFDAC licenses, SUN licenses, etc.
Well, for investors and, of course, MSME operators, entrepreneurs watching us live on this show, let me ask you, let me give you this opportunity. What key message would you like to share about Nigeria's reform journey and, of course, opportunities that your tour state-level reforms will unlock for them? Many of them want opportunities. They really want to unlock this potential that they have. Tell them what they like to hear.
I want them to know that we're ready to work hand in hand with them to create the best business environment for all businesses, both local business, entrepreneurs, multinationals, and foreign direct investors. This is why we're coming to you. This is why stakeholder engagement and private sector engagement is paramount for us. I want them to know, I want the business climate or the business sector in Nigeria to know that PEBEC is actively working to create an enabling business environment for you, where your partners, as much as, yes, we do protect government interests and we want to strengthen our institutions, your needs and your concerns are paramount and most important for us, because that is our mandate. And we're taking this mandate very, very seriously, in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's, 8-point agenda. And then also our boss, the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, is actively very, very supportive of every policy or every suggestion that we bring on board to try and improve the business climate in Nigeria. There are several very positive things. Sorry, am I muted?
Yes, you're on. We can hear you.
Okay. That's fantastic. There are several very positive outcomes that we are hoping to see in a very, very short period of time, especially within the ports and customs sector, especially within the food and beverages sector, between NAFDAC and SON and FCCPC. So we're zeroing in. We're working very, very closely with our MDs at the federal level. And again, this nationwide tour, we're going to be working very, very closely with the MDAs at the subnational level to ensure that there's uniformity. So whatever service or whatever level of service you would get at the federal level is also what we expect to see at the state level. Hence this tour. So it's a partnership. We all have to work together to build our country. As long as you're invested in Nigeria, you need to be interested in the progress of Nigeria.
Princess Zara Mustafa Aldu, DG Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, Business Nigeria. I hope to see you again, maybe after the tour, for some evaluation of what you've seen. And
or during the tour.
Or even during the tour. Yes, when you're in Lagos.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, I'm in Lagos on Monday, but
great.
Yes, so that's too quick. That would be too quick to
that
come
would be
back
too
on
quick.
Your channel.
That would be too quick.
But yes, definitely during the tour and post the tour, we'll be back. I mean, we have shied away from the media because we wanted to do enough work to be able to come and share with you,
all right,
progress report, as opposed to, oh, we intend to do this. We wanted to say we are doing this and we have done this. And I think hopefully in a very short period of time, we would start to see the impact of some of the work that we're doing.
Thank you so much, DG PEBEC. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, and I wish you a great week.
All right then.